should let me love you forever, forever. I wanna love you. Will you let me love you forever, forever and a day, 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 day.
Surprise! Hi guys, welcome to TMW Online, the Melanated Way. I'm Linda, that's Abby. We are having a midweek special because we realized that we have a little bit of catching up to do on all things the other way. So we're covering episode 18 here, and then stay with us because we're going to, 4:15 Pacific Standard Time, we are going to cover episode 19 so that we're like back to back to back to back to back so that we can get to the tell-all. So we only have one more episode and then we'll be on the tell-all, which I'm sure we'll be able to do this week. That being said, hey Faisy, shout out, live chat. You guys don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, happy to be here, Abby, midweek.
I'm so excited to be here. This has been a really good season. I'm excited about it. And we've had such good live discussion and replay comments this entire time. That really helps us. Well, it helps me to keep being engaged and going to hear everybody's opinion.
100%.
Joslo!
Hey, girl, hey. Midweek Joslo. Thoughts of Adios, episode 18.
There wasn't much, that I had to, my Jenny and submit section, I literally have no notes for that. So yeah, I mean, the most interesting thing that happened to me in this episode is actually stuff that happened between Manon and Anthony.
100%. And speaking of Manon and Anthony, what are your thoughts about their segment?
I don't understand it, but I'm not privy to all of their finances. Buying a house 2 hours away from your support system when you're trying to become a more active mom seems counterintuitive to me. If I'm switching my life up to be accommodated to be a mom, I want to be around family. I may not understand the multi-generational housing aspect, but I absolutely understand having grandparents nearby who are willing and able to assist you. And they seem willing and able to assist. So I don't particularly understand buying a house 2 hours away.
That is not the only thing I don't understand about Manon, but I'll get to it. Faisy says Manon is having a crisis every minute of her life. It's exhausting. Facts.
Is this cultural?
It's
Is this French that everything has that kind of, because like my stereotype of French people is like forever rioting and complaining.
I mean, I don't know. I cannot speak for the French. I don't want to. I cannot. If you are Francois, let us know. But I don't know. But this is specific to Manon. That's I know for sure. So, they had been staying at her parents' house for a few months. They found the perfect house 2 hours away from the parents, countryside, which already didn't make sense to me because hey, Ray Della, hey, girl, hey, you guys moved from America so that you could work on your family and your relationship. And so you moved back to where Manon is from, supposedly so that you could be closer to her family and away. What was the purpose? Because like I've been saying since the beginning of the season, everywhere you go, there you are. If you have problems in Los Angeles, you're going to have problems in the south of France. Like it just, I just don't get it. Now you're like the city girl, and then you buy a house in the countryside. Of course you're going to have problems because you're not only not used to being in the countryside, but you don't like the countryside. You like the city. You like the hustle and the bustle. So make that make sense. But you guys invested your entire savings into this house. And to you, quote, it feels permanent. Well, I would hope so. You're spending, at least $100,000 on a house. It should feel probably quite permanent. So she starts freaking out. We find out this episode that she is on antidepressants, and she started that because she bought a house in the countryside in France, because perhaps that's not exactly what she wanted to do. But we also find out in this episode, she saw how happy it made Anthony. And I thought back to the goat date and how he talked about wanting to be on a farm and all of that. And it might not be a farm, but it's countryside and far out there with the, the big field in the backyard. And he joked about having goats back there, but he could literally have goats back there because it is a tiny little town. So it takes two to make this decision. You made the decision, and now you have to get on pills so that you're not depressed about your decision. Like, I don't get it, Abby. We also find out that Anthony found a job, and it was, in my opinion, it's the perfect job for him. He was a stay-at-home dad, and now he is going to be working with kids from the UK at a camp in France that requires him to speak English. So it's like a win-win. We already know he's good with kids because he's good with his own kid, and it's something he likes to do. So now he's going to also, get paid monetary money for it outside of the house. But here's where I have a question for you, Abby, because here's where I'm having, again, an issue with Manon. So she says she's stressed out about money. We already know that money is her main motivator. And she's worried about the money that they spent in their US account because they took all that money and invested into the house. Her literal words are, "We lost everything." And now they're going to have a lot of debt and credit card debt. And she also has to stay home. Well, that was your plan. Your plan was to move to France and then Anthony be the breadwinner outside of the house and you be the breadwinner inside of the house. You were switching roles. So now I don't understand when you say you lost everything.
Mhm.
The hundreds of thousands of dollars that were in your account, but you bought a house. I don't understand. What did she lose, Abby?
Her mind. Because this is exactly what they said they wanted to do. I don't understand why they had to buy the house outright as opposed to getting a mortgage, but I'm quite confused by what Manon is saying here, because this is what we thought that they wanted. I'm also incredibly confused by the stairs in that house. They look treacherous.
Listen, no extra wine when you're going down those stairs, that's for sure.
No.
So hey, silver lining. Hey girl, hey. She's worried about that. And she's also worried that no savings, no car, she's not making money. She feels like she's going to be stuck, her words, stuck in the house. And she's never wanted to be that. And it goes back to what I said yesterday on our show, where you don't have to be a mom. Like, you don't have to if that's not what you want to do. Right. And so you are making these conscious decisions and then regretting them because they're not decisions you really want to do or have. Right. So in your mind, and I talked about it yesterday, in Manon's mind, being a stay-at-home anything is not valuable to her, and she doesn't find worth in it. And because she doesn't find worth in it, she thinks lowly of it. She doesn't think that it's a great thing. And that's why she's on these antidepressants. She's on antidepressants because she's depressed that she's staying home to take care of a kid when she never really wanted to stay home and take care of a kid. That's not what she's ever wanted. And now to top it off, she's in a countryside instead of city side. And so now she feels isolated. And I think that's what she means by when she lost everything. I think that's what she means. She means she's lost the control. She's lost the money that she thinks that she should be making. She's lost the fact that she's at home and not like whining and dining with her LV bags and all of that. She's lost that. And in her mind, that's a huge loss. Rather than looking at, hey, I'm getting closer to my son. I said that I wanted to bond and connect and spend time with this boy as he grows up. And that's not what she really wants, Abby. That's not really what she wants.
Mm-hmm. So she's not being very introspective about her needs. And so it's going to be impossible for Anthony to satisfy her in this moment, because what she's voicing that she wants are diametrically opposed to each other.
100%. So it's moving day. Her parents say something funny to me. They're like, are you leaving Ben here? Because we would love to have him. You guys go. You can leave your kid here, which is crazy because that actually might be a great idea. I know that sounds crazy, but it might be a great idea. Leave the kid away from the drama. Let them get to know the grandparents, and you go out and focus on the business that you're trying to set up. And because you can do it from anywhere, you can do it in your new house while you fix up your house and do all those things. I think that would actually make her happier. And then you could come in, I don't know, once a week, once every 2 weeks, and visit with your son. Now, that's not taking Anthony into consideration at all. But I mean, what we're doing now is worse, in my opinion, because being terrible. This man, you guys, and I've said it since day one, he's really doing everything he knows to do to make his wife happy, and she's never happy with him. Never happy with him. So they're moving. I'd love the interaction between Anthony and Laurent, who is her dad, because he's speaking fluent French and understanding, and I think that he knows more French than he's letting on, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I thought was interesting, and I wanted to ask you in the live chat if you guys knew. So I learned to drive on a stick shift, and my very first car was a stick shift. And it's very common in the Euros to have a stick shift car and a small compact car. How many of you guys know how to drive a stick shift? Abby, do you know how to drive a stick shift?
I failed at learning. All of my sisters, their first cars were stick shift, and when it was time for me to learn how to drive, my sister took me out to learn, and I was just like, I don't want a hard life.
It's not hard at all.
I want an easy life.
You find it hard?
I have anxiety, and like the idea of being on the road and stalling out and having to recover just fills me with so much anxiety. I don't want that kind of life. Just give me the automatic transmission.
All right, then. Jocelyn says, I learned to drive with stick. Silver Lining says that she knows how to drive stick shift as well. And I think Fizzy knows as well. Me 3 on the 3, 4 on the 4. Yeah, I mean, 5 gears.
Yeah.
So yeah, and if you're watching the replay, let me know if you guys know. Tina says, I learned how to drive on a stick. So I think that Abby might be the only one in the minority here, right here, where it's not that she doesn't, well, she doesn't know how, but she doesn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think she took me out twice in her car before I was just like, I don't think this is for me.
I do think you get a lot more mileage, and I don't know how to say it, but like you save on gas, you use less gas when you have stick shift, and you do really control the car more. And you're engaged the whole time. So like you can't be on your phone and you can't be like wandering, because you really have to pay attention to the driving. And I think that is actually a good thing. But that being said, Anthony stalls out because he's on a hill, because you guys know when you're on a hill, you have to, like, my whole thing when I very first started driving on stick shift is being on a hill and then someone pulls up really close behind you, and because you have that little bit of rollback and you never want to, like, my whole fear was, oh, I'm going to roll back into the car. Never did. But I thought about it. So they are driving to Saint Victor de Macap, which is a little village, and it means, and this is how I already knew she was going to be a negative Betty, because she said it's the name Saint Victor, plus it means bad summit or bad hill. It's like actually bad rolling hill, and it means hard to get to. And then she said it's the bum of France, basically. And I was like, oh, so you are already being negative and saying negative things about the place that's supposed to be your future and permanent and forever. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Don't know. Anyway, she never imagines herself and this is important, you guys, okay? It's very important. She never imagined herself with a kid, which she has, living in a small village, which she now lives, and Anthony adds, as well as a dweeb like me. So all the things, if you want to get real with it, you guys, all the things that are in her life are all the things that she never imagined that she wanted. And I dare say is what's making her so miserable and cranky and talking down to her husband and so negative and complaining all the time. You're complaining because you're not happy in your situation. You're not happy in your situation because these are the things that you never wanted. You literally said you never imagined them. And now you're here and you don't want to be here in all respects. And that's unfortunate because you know who suffers? Everyone else. When you're unhappy with yourself and you're unhappy with your life, you're not going to be happy with anything around you, especially the people that are supposed to be most important to you. And then they're going to be miserable because you're miserable. And like Anthony said, no truer point, when Manon's not happy, no one is. Do you want to add anything before I move on from them?
Nope, I'm ready.
Chloe and Johnny. Chloe, girl, good on you for the snooping, because you know what? Starting in this episode and pushing into episode 19, this man is showing you his true colors. And thank God you found out now before, like Abby has been saying this whole season, you married him or you wound up with a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness. So, overall thoughts on their segment?
Johnny is giving us a very good example of how the person that you enter the relationship with is not the person when you leave the relationship. This is the importance of a prenuptial agreement. This is the importance of having your name on property and not just expecting that other person to do right by you in the end. Because Johnny is showing us in real time how little he cares for Chloe if she is separate from him, right? If she's with him, cool. But if she separates from him, she has no value. He doesn't care how he talks to her. He doesn't care how he treats her. He doesn't care what happens in her life. And that's not love. So this is a good lesson in protect yourself before you go into any marriage. Luckily, Chloe didn't get that far because the person you marry is not the person you divorce.
Johnny's washing his car. We find out, like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with washing your car, right? But he talks about how you can save money rather than go to the car wash. He's saving like $30, which he can use on food rather than spending it on washing his car. And he wants Chloe to help him. So she comes out to help him. And she also brings up the paperwork, like, what are we doing? She talked to her mom, and her mom's like, okay, great, you guys saw the lawyer, but what are you guys doing to move forward with this? Like, what are you doing? And so she asked him, what do you want to do? And he automatically and first says, well, we're trying to do the partnership paperwork versus getting married. That's the first sign to me that he doesn't want to get married to this girl. And why? Because now we get into a bunch of stuff that he's never said before. Well, you don't help me out. So if you don't help me now, are you going to help me in the future? He says, you don't wash dishes. I wash all the dishes. You don't clean. And he has an idea of how he thinks a woman should act in a marriage. She should cook. She should clean and take care of her man. Now, dear men, if you want a traditional relationship, then you're going to have to do 50% of the tradition. And if the tradition is you want a woman that's submissive and cooks and cleans and bathes you and showers all the love on you and washes your drawers and all of that stuff, then you better provide for her and you better provide for the household and give her everything monetarily that you're supposed to bring to the house. And so if I'm looking at this specific situation, Johnny, washing your car for you to go to your job to make the money to bring home for her to cook the bacon should be your job, and she shouldn't be out there washing the car. If we're going to get technical like that and you don't want to marry her because she's not helping you do the cooking and cleaning. Can't have it both ways. I'm not surprised by that. Faisy says, Linda, also word on the street is that Johnny has multiple children in the US and Aruba. I'm not surprised by that at all. He gives those vibes. So she feels like she's given up a lot of her life, right? Because she is part of that 1%. And she's not thinking that he is recognizing how much she's given up to be with him, right? She's given up her friends, her family, the money, her stipends from her mom, her 6-figure job, et cetera, to live this simpler life with the men that she thought she loved. And then he says, you want me to just marry you? It's not that simple. Do you know how unattractive that is? Girl, I'm so glad that you snooped in the phone, because he's subtly telling you how much of a terrible individual he is with his words. Y'all pay attention to the words. Why isn't it that simple? If you love each other and you want to spend the rest of your lives together, what? You're punishing her because she doesn't cook and clean? What's not simple about it? Abby, what do you think he meant by that?
What I think that he meant by that is he sees himself as, he sees value in himself that we do not see. He sees himself as a catch. And so he's saying, I'm going to surrender all of the options that I have in women to marry you. You think it's just that simple? You think it's just that easy? Because he's not valuing Chloe as an actual friend and partner. He's only valuing her aesthetically. And so he's thinking, there's all these other women who are messaging me and who I've talked to and who I have had histories with. And why should I surrender all of that for you? I think that's what he's trying to communicate. Basically, he's letting us know he's a piece of shit.
He thinks he's the prize. And I'm sorry, but just because you're in the streets and for the streets doesn't make you a prize. Just because you have female attention, those women are on vacation. And I encourage, go ahead and have a vacay bay, but leave your vacay bay on vacay. And that's exactly what they do. You might have a bunch of one-night stands, but those women aren't trying to be with you. They're not trying to stay with you. They're a hit it and quit it and keep it pushing. That's why you're begging for nudes and you're telling other women that you miss them, because you're out of sight, out of mind. They've moved on. I was about to say something that was incredibly crazy. I'm so glad I had a moment. And so Chloe's like, you know what? I'm not interested in being in any type of traditional role. Girl, you're 23. Go live your life. Go live your life. And that's a sign to you. Your gut instinct is telling you, nah, this is all brand new and I'm not interested in it. That's why you started snooping around, because you're like, something's not sitting right with me. And women, when something's not sitting right with you, go ahead and snoop around. Go ahead and do what you got to do. Whatever's unsettling, find the reason why. You have 100% stamp of approval. Okay? Because men lie. That being said, Jonathan went, I don't care where he went, to a friend's house, whatever. Had to get a new phone, left his old phone, and because she already has trust issues because he's cheated in the past. And then she went out, for drinks with her friends, and her friends are like, he's been cheating this whole year that you haven't been here. So, her anxiety is back up. So she went through his phone. He messaged some girl that he missed her, messaged another girl while they were filming, you guys. And they showed that clip that was what bent over like this, talking about the future with your future partner for life while you're texting and messaging someone else is nasty work.
Nasty.
And then he was messaging another girl that he was missing her. So this is 3 girls in. And then he was sending pictures, asking for nudes, talking about being intimate with another girl. And all of that, well, part of it, Chloe was sitting right beside him. Disgusting. Disgusting. And it gets even worse because his attitude is what totally just, you guys. Okay, I'm just trying to be on my best behavior. So she stayed with her friend. So she caught him. And he blamed her for going through his phone when she started taking screenshots. So she left. She packed up her bag. She stayed with a friend. And then she doesn't want to be around him, doesn't want to see him. She's hurt. She's crying. And, you know, we find out also that he has like a whole folder of like his past escapades, which I just was like, he's so insecure. He's so insecure. Like, he probably doesn't talk to half the women that he has filed into some disgusting hidden folder on his phone. Like, gross. You're gross. And he doesn't delete it, even though he's supposed to be in a committed relationship talking about marriage with another girl. Like, ew, you're gross. Why? Because he wants to feed his ego. Because he's a narcissist. Because he thinks he's the prize. So she left. She's in her rental until she can figure out how to get back home. Girl, call your mama. Your mama will send you the money and you could leave tomorrow.
She will.
100%. She's upset that he hasn't asked, you know, where she's staying. Is she okay? Does she need anything? He's done nothing. And that just goes to show what Abby was saying. He didn't care about her. As long as they were together and she was doing what he wanted. And if you guys want to think about it a little bit also, because she's so young, he thought he could control her, right? That's what his concern was that she wanted to still go out and party and all. No, he wanted her to be at the house while he ran amok and cheated, but came home and had a hot meal on the table and someone to spread their legs. Like, no. She's really upset because she basically was like, I didn't ask for much. I just asked for loyalty. I left my money. I left my family, left my friend, left my job, my 6-figure income job, all the things. And he didn't love me, she said, because you don't do that to people you love. And I am going to repeat that. I know that there are a lot of you, and I will speak for myself only. And because I know a lot of you out there have dealt with infidelity and have been able to move past it, forgive, and forget. As you guys know, I'm not. I just can't. I would not be that. I would be Chloe, leaving immediately. But I wouldn't leave my stuff. And this is just a side note, because we see it with Greta and Matthew, and we also see it here with Johnny and Chloe. But I don't want them to pack my stuff. I don't want them to touch my stuff. I want to pack my own stuff and take my own stuff with me. I didn't like that at all because I just didn't like it. It was a weird thing. I don't like it. Don't pack my stuff. You're already out of my life. Don't be in my stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's not, I think it's more reasonable to say, could you leave for a while I pack my things? Or I'll send a friend over to pack my things.
Yeah.
I wouldn't care for that either.
Yeah, I'm not into it at all. Anything else you want to add about Johnny and Chloe?
So this is like a little technique to help you. When somebody says something really nasty to you, but they're still trying to get you back, what you do is, okay, the message that Johnny sent to Chloe when she said she wasn't coming quite yet to get her stuff, he said, okay, then I'm going to throw it out. Okay. What you do is you screenshot that nasty message and you save it as their picture on your phone, so that if in any chance you unblock them, it will immediately remind you that they didn't care about you.
That's a great note. I'm petty. I will not only block and delete. I just block and delete.
See,
You're
but
like, I don't have your number in my phone anymore. That's it.
the problem
Bye.
with a delete is that as time passes, your brain is going to accentuate the good times. And so you have to deliberately remind your brain of the bad times.
Silver lining says, Abby, I love that. And I absolutely think uh, it's a great tip for sure. I don't forget, y'all. I'm a Gemini. I don't forget about anything. I may not say it, but I don't forget it. But I don't know. I have the art of detachment for sure. Like if you've dated me and you're ever watching this, you can go ahead and comment. I'm when I'm done, I'm done. Like I'm all in, but when I'm not, I'm not. And no cockamamie thinking about you. What are you doing? Like none of first of all, you can't reach me. If by happenstance I forgot to block you, which I would not have, but blocked you on something and you send me a crazy message. First of all, you guys know that DMs don't work for me, right? Like don't slide into my DMs because it takes me a minute to get to them. And then when I get to them and you're saying something ridiculous, I laugh, to be honest, because what am I supposed to do? What do I do with that? Anyways, don't romanticize your toxic exes is the point of this conversation.
Correct.
Moving on to Jenny and Smith. Oh, Jenny. The more I watch Jenny this season, you guys, the more I think that this woman doesn't want to do anything. She wants to in her what do they call it? Your twilight years, just twilighting it out. She wants to just chill. She don't want to work. She don't want to get dressed. She doesn't want to cook. She doesn't want to clean. She doesn't want to listen to anyone. She doesn't want to exercise. She just wants to sit. I mean, I just what will make you happy, Jenny? Because
Sitting.
sitting. That's what she wants to do, right? Just sit. Just sit.
She doesn't want to do a stretch. She doesn't want to do a yoga.
Nothing.
She doesn't want to flex her toes or point her toes. She just wants to sit.
That's it.
She doesn't want to count.
She doesn't want to count. Nothing. So we left off yesterday with Smith standing up for Jenny, telling his mom to stop being controlling to everyone at the house. But then, he's having buyer's remorse because now he realizes that he wants to live with his family forever. Those are his words. I want to live with my family forever. And because his mom, Sadhna, is the head of the household, he wants to make sure that he can stay in her good graces because he wants to stay in her house for as long as possible. Forever, actually, forever, he said. So he wants to fix the issues that he created with her because he confronted her about her controlling behavior. And now he's backtracking because he doesn't want to have problems in his forever home. As well as they also have the family cafe. And if the family is, fighting in that little small cafe, it's going to be an issue, right? So he calls a meeting with his brother and his brother's wife and Jenny. And he basically says, listen, we need to keep mom happy by any means necessary. She needs to be happy. I want to fix the issues with her. And Jenny starts freaking out. She's like, no, I can't have a boss. I'm too old for this. I don't agree. I'm not listening to anybody. And Smith's like, well, maybe you have to. Maybe you have to. Maybe you just have to just listen because here we are. And Jenny's like, I don't want to listen to anybody. No one's bossing me around. I want out. I will not follow Sadhna's orders. I will not listen to any. Jenny, you don't listen anyways. You don't do anything and you don't listen anyways. I could barely call you a barista because, A, you don't even barely know how to make coffee and you can't count. Oh, goodness. So Sumit basically just says, I want to keep the peace. And so I'm going to make mom happy. And his brother agrees with him. And so does his sister-in-law. So they're all going to keep the peace for peace sake. Jenny, however, does not agree. And Jenny has decided that she has a plan to get them, meaning her and Sumit, out of the house. Outrageous. Thoughts?
Not a single solitary thought while I was watching that whole segment.
Live chat, what do you guys think of Jenny's behavior? What do you think Jenny is up to? Why do you think she's so unhappy living with Sumit's mom, Sadhna, and the rest of the family? Let us know in the live chat. And if you're watching the replay, definitely let us know in the replay. Okay, we've done great time. Moving on to Madeline and Luke. Overall thoughts on their segment?
Oh, Father Jim, you came in with me really enjoying you. I felt like you were so honest with your son when we saw you in the first couple episodes and honest about his limitations and financial situation. But now I see why Luke is the way that he is, because despite you being honest with Luke about what's going on with him, you are happy to portray a facade about his actual abilities, entrepreneurship, and his business acumen in the United States. And that's deceitful. And I don't like you anymore.
This is why it's really important, you guys, to get to know people. Give them time. And, I talk about how when you meet a vacay bae, that you really actually have to spend a lot of time there in their environment and with their people. And then you also have to travel with them because, like Abby, I thought Jim was wisdom. I thought, because Jim was talking about how, you don't always make the right choices. I thought he was like really holding his son accountable. But I'm not sure if, did you drink one too many margaritas while you on the plane? I don't understand because I talk about he came out of left field, y'all, he came out of left field and his behavior was like, oh, now I see where Luke comes from.
Mm-hmm. But lucky for Madeline, she's got some street smarts to her. So she immediately was like, something's not right here, but I'm going to be cordial.
Yeah, I mean, she did not escalate it. I think that the street smarts were part of it, but I also think culturally that respect for elders is there, and it's definitely in that culture as well. And I think that she was taking it all in, but also knowing that this American who's older than me, who's supposed to be wiser than me, is also trying to manipulate me. And he's talking down to me like I mean nothing, when I've seen that before, because we see it all the time with the passport bros. They want you to be a pretty face, but they don't want you to have a mind of your own, and absolutely not going to own anything. Like, I'm going to give you what I want to give you, but I'm only going to give it to you because you're giving me, your body in return.
Right.
Joslo says, all I know is that Jenny is wasting what could be the greatest time of her life.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Listen.
While we're having a Joslo break, since we're making good time, Joslo asked a question earlier. Every breakup is bad? So if it's a breakup that you don't want to go back to, that's when I suggest saving a little message to yourself. If it was an amicable breakup, then obviously, you don't have to do that. And you may find that you get back together with that person if it was amicable. But in my lifetime, I've only had 2 amicable breakups. The rest of them have been dumpster fires. Have you had an amicable breakup, Linda?
I have. I've had a couple of amicable breakups, but not to the point where I want to get back with them.
I had, of my 2 amicable breakups, one person I would get back with if it worked out. But the other person, it was like an issue. They want to have more kids, and I'm not doing
Would
that.
I
So
get
that's not
back
gonna
with any of my exes? Would I get back with any of my exes? No.
work. You're like, no, the issue was big enough.
I'm friends with almost every ex I've have except for one. And but yeah, no. I think that for me, I think that that's just my past, and I think I'm a different version of myself now as I get older. I think I'm a different version of myself, and I probably couldn't put up with some of the things that, I put up with in, my 20s and 30s. I,
Yeah.
but you guys are great, good friends. You guys are great. That doesn't mean I want to hear from you today and tomorrow. I'm just saying, generally speaking. Okay.
All right.
Jenny is cray cray. They have no money to move out. Technically, Luke is Madeline's elder too. Joslo is asking, but why erase and block? Oh, that might be my comment. I delete bad breakups and I block bad breakups because I just don't have the energy for the back and forth, and I don't want you to disturb my peace. But I'm not saying that's every breakup because that has not been my experience. But have I had a bad breakup? Absolutely. And I will never talk to that person again. And I don't think that person would want to talk to me either. We're just not meant to be in the same space. So that's what I mean by erasing and blocking, because that was my past, if that's what you're asking. So, Jim. So, Jim basically verbally attacks Madeline, and that's how my feeling on it. He verbally attacked this young girl. As a grown-ass man, he could have used his words without being so aggressive. And had it been anyone else, you guys, there would be different words here. But because he's, a blonde-haired American, no one's talking about how aggressive this guy was towards her. He's aggressive, you guys. Aggressive. And I felt for her. I felt a little bit of fear for her because she was also alone. None of her family was around her. Her friggin' loser fiance is, somewhere else. And you have this man that's verbally attacking you. Who knows? He could have leaned over the table. That's the vibe he was getting. So anyways, he says that the last 3 weeks that his son has been down there, it's been a poop show. Doesn't use that word. He used a different word. And she's going to need to make a choice to love him because relationships are not perfect, right? And she's like, yeah, I'm choosing to love him. I'm choosing to work through our nonsense because I do love him. Super calm. Super calm. She's being super calm. She expresses how she gets scared and has some insecurities and trust issues because of his previous cheating and the stripper situation that just happened a couple of weeks ago, but she's trying to work through it. See that tone, that cadence of mine? That was hers. Very calm, very cool. Jim takes it up there 100%. He says, you have to have no doubts in your mind. Yes, he cheated when he was younger. I cheated when I was younger, but I didn't cheat when I got married. Can you imagine your fiance's father says to you, yeah, I know he cheats, but as soon as you get married, he'll stop cheating, because that's what I did. I stopped cheating as soon as I got married. Do you know the outrageous ridiculousness of that? So basically you're saying, your son's been cheating on me this whole time. And instead of saying, hey, he's been cheating this whole time, you say when he was younger.
Like when he was younger, like a year ago? Like what exactly are you talking about, Father Jim? I was particularly offended because he wasn't like, I made a conscious decision to stop cheating when I got married. He said, when I met the right one. So you're putting the responsibility for your bad behavior on the woman. you were unable to regulate yourself, that it had to be a certain kind of woman for you to behave correctly, for you to have morals, for you to have some responsibility with your Pinasia. And that's so offensive.
It's disgusting. So every other woman that you felt was not the right one, you cheated on. So that tells me what you feel about women and how you don't respect women.
And how you raised your son.
Disgusting. Joslo is saying, hold on, is saying, I'm just getting a notification for you in 30 minutes. Yes, Joslo, we have a double hitter. We have a show coming up in about 30 minutes. We're moving forward. We're going to do episode 19 in just a little bit. So glad you got the notification. So Jim goes on to say, with anger, because that's what my note says. Oh, I don't know where this is coming from. No, it's not for the tell-all. It's for episode 19, you guys. Episode 19, we're catching up. So we have one more episode after this next one. We're covering 18 right now. We're going to cover episode 19 in 30 minutes. And then we'll cover episode 20 and then get to the tell-all. Okay? All right. So, Jim. My note says Dad, which is Jim, is going at her with anger, like all the anger, and tells her that she's going to have to learn to trust him, trust Luke. And then she's like, well, yeah, but it's a process. And this is where he blows up. He says, that's BS. And that has to end now. You can never say that to him again. And tomorrow, you're going to be married and you're going to be one item. Do you know what he means by that? One item? Not two in a union. Not two pillars holding up the house together. One item. Anyone? Anyone know what that means? Abby?
I'm gonna let you tell me.
One item meaning that, you know what? Once you marry my son tomorrow, he's in charge. I don't care all these dreams that you have and all the stuff that you think you want to do. No, because you're just going to be the wife and you're the immigrant wife at that. My son is going to be in charge and my son is the one that's going to have the power. And whatever he says is going to go. One item.
Mm-hmm.
Not two, unified. One.
This whole conversation is so incredibly upsetting.
So he goes on to say that he thinks that she's a jealous type and that's why she doesn't trust him. Bro, you just finished saying how you were a cheater and your son was a cheater. So why are you now gaslighting her and saying it's her being jealous?
Right.
Perhaps she would be jealous if your son didn't cheat.
Mm-hmm.
Could that be it? Could 1 and 1 make 2? And then the audacity, and all of this, you guys, is the night before the wedding. So you know he doesn't give a rat's ass about her, right? Because there's no joy, peace, have this conversation, a month ago. You're saying all this nasty stuff and attacking her the night before her wedding. Okay? So you have no regard for her, obviously. Then he goes on to talk about the property. And he's like, I heard that you want to put your name on the property legally. And she's like, yeah, I want to protect my future. And my future kids. Let's say Luke says somewhere down the road that he doesn't love me. I want to make sure that my children are taken care of. My future children are taken care of us. He freaks out. He's like, well, technically, you're not legally married yet. So none of this is yours. It's all my son's. He's already given you everything, he says. So don't pressure him because basically you've gotten what you got. He's given you everything already. He's not giving you anything else, and you don't deserve anything else because you're not even married to him. And even when you do get married, it's still going to be his, because you know what? You're one item now.
And both of them, both Luke and his father, are completely ignoring the work that Madeline put into securing this property as well. She scouted the property, she got the people together to get the surveys and whatever else was needed to be done in order to obtain it. And let this be a little bit of a lesson to you guys. We often will put our time and effort into a man's project only to be written off in the end. So if you decide to do some work to help a man, just go ahead and get paid for it up front. Just go ahead and get paid for it up front. Like, she could say, okay, you want me to take a trip out to this place, look at this property for you? I can do that for $200, because that is not a part of our relationship. That is you asking me to perform a service that you'd have to pay anyone else to do.
Preach, Abby, preach. That's what Olivia said. Yeah, because you know what? It just gets worse from here, you guys. He literally gaslights her and tells her she's silly to think that Luke is about to give her anything in her name for her or her future children, and that no man alive would sacrifice what Luke has sacrificed for you. This is where Jim, to me, showed all his true colors. So all that nasty business was all just sitting in him, and he was just waiting. And he waited to the night before she's supposed to get married and walk down the aisle to like spew out all this venom about what she's not about to do and how great his son is. If your son was so great, he wouldn't have such failed businesses. He wouldn't have to depend on you for financial support, and he wouldn't treat women how he treats women. But I guess I now know, Jim, where he gets it from. And talk about a wolf in sheep's clothing. You came across totally different. But you know what, you guys? My bad, because when you get people in small doses, you're always going to get the representative. And if they have any type of outside behavior, it's going to be their best behavior, because you're only getting them in small doses. But when you spend a little bit more time with them, the representative starts to wear off, because you can only be who you really aren't for so long. Jim showed us who he was. Jim raised Luke. Put it together for yourself. That's all I got for them. Shame.
Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah.
Shame,
So just to juxtapose this to the Johnny situation, when Madeline says, I want to make sure I'm provided for in the future, she's saying that because we've all seen situations where the person turns into Johnny when the relationship ends. They don't care about you. So if you don't set yourself up in the very beginning of the relationship to be successful, then you might be left destitute.
Oh, wait.
Jocelyn. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Oh, Jocelyn.
Go ahead.
Jocelyn was asking or saying, but he was paying her rent for her business. I don't know what all the financial breakdown was on the business, but I do know he was also profiting for it. So she's doing the day-to-day work. If you're right, he's paying the rent on the business, and they were both profiting from it. That's what a business arrangement could do.
Yeah. Okay, let's clear this up. Okay, he was paying the rent, but she was actually operating the business, right? You can go and pay the rent at Ralph's, but you're gonna still need employees, and you're gonna still need distributors. You're gonna still need all the things. It doesn't run itself. So yes, he's monetarily contributing, but she's manually contributing. And who knows, she might be monetarily contributing as well, because you need product and all of that stuff. Just because someone pays your rent, y'all, doesn't mean that everything else is paid for. Let's Nah. Nope. Y'all, we have one more couple. Did we have Dylan and Patia in this episode? We did, right?
We did. We had a big thing happen with Dylan and Patia in this episode.
Yeah, listen. Okay. Overall thoughts of Dylan and Patia.
I mean, my overall thought is why, but let's go on.
All right, Patia's been there for months. Nothing has changed. Dylan is still talking to his mom all day, every day, as well as this debt that she hasn't been paid, but she continues to be there, right? I mean, you can say that, Patia, but if it's bothering you, like, why are we not continuing to discuss it? And like, if you have a problem and you discuss it one or two times and it's still a problem because you haven't resolved it, I don't understand what happens. It's still going to be a problem, you guys. Like,
yeah, it's gonna. Linda, I want to share something with you. When two souls are destined to be together, they are bound by
oh my God,
an invisible thread.
So
that thread.
do it. Do the whole thing. You have the whole thing down there?
They are bound by an invisible thread, and that thread, it may bend and it may stretch. That's as far as I got.
But it never breaks. It never breaks. Because those souls are meant to be together. They find a way. Now, this ring is replacing the invisible thread. And this ring now symbolizes, the ring symbolizes the thread. So it's no longer invisible. And it's in sight for all to see. That was the whole thing. I mean,
I'm sure enjoy that speech.
I'm sure it was lovely for her. That was too much cheese for me. No, it would have been too. No. First of all, you guys, no, just talk to me like a regular person. I don't need this whole like hoop-de-hoo, the invisible thread, soul, and no. Okay. And the second thing that was bothering me that I was like, Patia, you don't recognize that ring? That's not new. Why are you crying? It used to be on your finger for like almost a year. Same ring. He just spit polished it.
She hasn't seen it in so long. It looks new to her.
Oh no. See, you guys, I don't forget stuff. She had she had the ring on for like a day and then she took it off. She had it on for like some months before he took it back. She should recognize that ring.
This is the same person who's been begging to be engaged. So in all likelihood, she doesn't care that it's the same ring.
Well, I don't know. I feel like that's just bad juju. That the same ring that he took back and you guys broke up a billion times is now the same ring that you're going to wear that supposedly is going to symbolize this invisible thread for your souls, for all to see. Well, people saw it before. You guys saw it like a few years ago and he took it back.
The thread may bend, it may stretch, it may be taken back.
But it never breaks. Because what's meant to be finds a way. The ring symbolizes this thread, and it's no longer invisible. It's in sight for all to see. Okay, enough. I'm done. He proposes. That was his proposal speech. If you guys are wondering what crazy Shakespearean, non-Shakespearean nonsense we're spewing right now. Then he says, will you marry me? She says yes. She's so happy. She's crying. She literally said, these words came out of her mouth, that she waited 12 years and she's so happy. To me, that seems like an oxymoron. 12 years? You waited 12 years and now you're happy. You're so happy. You waited 12 years and now you're so happy. Because did we forget that he proposed to you before with the same ring and you still didn't get married? Did we forget that you moved halfway across the world before and he didn't do what he said he was going to do? So then you had to move back. And now, I'm sorry, but here we are again. You said you've been there for 2 months and nothing has changed.
Listen, she has decided that being engaged fixes all those problems. She's excited. And who are we to rain on Patia's parade? Who are we?
I'm not raining on her parade. I just
Oh,
want
I'm raining on her parade.
I want some common sense here. I want her to snap out of this ring. Listen, just being engaged does not fix your problems, you guys. It does not. So what, you have a fancy ring. It's not even a new ring. It's the same old recycled ring that he kept for 10 years, just like reusing it. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Phyllis said, I'm a conservationist.
He will say that now. He will say that because men lie. So I'm sorry, I'm going to say it one more time because my note says, does she not recognize the same ring? I think I'm stuck on that. I'm stuck on it, you guys. I don't understand why she doesn't recognize it. I would recognize it. And I would make him take the rock out and let me pick a different setting so that it's a fresh new start. Because this ring already has bad juju. And it took 12 years for you to get it again when you just had it a few years ago. No.
Actually, Linda, you would not ask him to take the stone out and have a new setting because you simply would not have stuck around 12 years.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. First of all, what we're not about to do is break up 20 times. Okay. No. If would I do that? I'm trying to make sure that I'm not about to tell a lie. If we broke up and it was an amicable breakup and somewhere down the road we decided that we would give it one more chance, I might consider it. But there's no promises. Because I don't know if you've heard this before, but it's at least true for me. And maybe, Abby, you can speak on whether it's true for you. But if I'm in a relationship, and because I go all in, I'm loyal, blah, 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 all the things, all in, okay? And we break up, and we broke up for a reason, right? If we try to get back together, you're not going to get the same rose-colored glasses Linda. You're going to get the Linda that you did whatever you did. Whatever the issue was, she's awake now. So you're going to get that new Linda. That's why, for me, it doesn't make it, like when you break up, it's just over. Like,
yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
Now, some people, that's not how you guys are. And like, you can smooth it out and keep it pushing and all the stuff. But no, thank you.
No, I mean, men even know that. I've seen men's chats where they'll say, if your wife stays with you after you cheat, like your wife might stay with you after you cheated, but she's not going to be the same. They even know that.
Yeah, no. Nope. So he's relieved. He feels like now that he's given her a solid commitment after 12 years, Dylan, like, okay. He feels confident in the relationship. And I just want to let you know how outrageous that is because he hasn't changed anything about himself. So now you just put a ring on it because she's been begging for a ring. And now this is going to all of a sudden make your relationship fantastic. No, you all have to deal with your issues. You don't deal with the issues. A big shiny old ring that you recycled is not going to fix anything. All right, that's all I got.
That's it.
Dylan and his jaw annoy me. Oh my God, Olivia. Let me not. Okay, you guys, we are coming back. We are covering Episode 19 in just a few minutes. So come back and join us, y'all.
Yes, we love chatting with you. Come on back.
All right, y'all. See you soon.